there, Safecrackers. Get your combinations ready because it is time for the Comic Vault. That's right. A vault full of comics that includes the final 2 issues of The Phantom. That's right. Issues 12 and 13. I like that cover quite a lot. This cover's a little more menacing. This cover's cool. Anyway, this is the final 2-issue story arc from The Phantom, what it's all been building up to. So we have the Phantom's wedding. They've flown in her parents. They've flown in people that are important. They're inviting people from around that are important for this wedding. And this happens to coincide with the framing of the Phantom. Somebody has killed a major public figure and left the mark of the Phantom on that person's face. You know, when the Phantom punches someone with his skull ring, it leaves an indentation on whatever he's punching. So somebody framed the Phantom using that ring, or using a likeness of the ring. So moving on. And that's where we get to be about the middle of this issue, is that the Phantom's been framed and he's been captured. Now, at this point, 2 major political people have been killed. Now, these political people, one's a general and wanting his way or the highway, and the other one is a government official who is just trying to reunite the people of this city or province or whatever it happens to be. I'm not exactly certain. But there is political turmoil, and there are rebels, and there's fighting, and he's just trying to reunite it. This government official is just trying to reunite it. He's doing good things. Now, that's interesting, because it's atypical that the government man's the good guy. He is a humanist, and he's just trying to get things organized in a much better way. He's just trying to facilitate peace. And I find that to be interesting. Now, of course, the military guy is always the bad guy, or at least usually the bad guy at this point. It's fairly typical looking at something like the Hulk, or actually what have you. I mean, since the 60s, it's been pretty typical to show the military as the bad guy. Now, he's not exactly the bad guy, because they have questions as to whether or not the general killed the political official, but as it turns out, he did not. He's just a very unreasonable, pretty scary man. And the person who actually killed him ties the whole series together. Now, the villain that appeared in the first 2 issues of this series is the villain who appears in the last 2 issues of this series. And I found the first 2 issues to be very interesting. It set the tone, it did a lot of good stuff. And now we're on to this series right here, where we're at the ending, and he's perfectly rounding it out, and I find that fascinating. So, what we get is largely the Phantom knowing that he hasn't defeated this guy, or that he thought he had defeated him, and that he's back. So he's questioning as to whether or not he has to break his oath. He's questioning as to whether or not he needs to kill this man to solve this problem. The Phantom being framed is not necessarily an issue as for the loss of trust of the people, because I think there is a certain amount of fear that people will still do what he has to do, or what he asks for them to do. But when it comes to the loss of government support, that could be a huge problem for the Phantom. So the Phantom escapes, and with the help of his bride, Diane, she leaves the wedding party for a while and goes in search of this missing Phantom and says, well, where is he? Where's my lover? I want to know. So she's worried. She poses as a reporter to get into this prison so that she can have an interview and a photograph with the Phantom. And she says, my name's Lois Lane. Yeah, that's it. And they finally let her in, and she helps the Phantom to escape. And it all boils down essentially to a big battle where the Phantom manages to get evidence against the man who's from the first one, and then defeat the man in such a way as to leave him with the proper authorities, and lead the authorities to the evidence. So he manages to incriminate the man who he has decided that, or he was questioning as to whether or not he needed to kill. So the man is now not just being punished in the way of his own comeuppance, he's also being punished by the proper authorities. So I find that interesting. The Phantom uses his own punishment methods, and the Phantom is able to use the punishment methods established by the government and the people. So I find that to be hugely fascinating, and generally when people say that I'm going to make a character that doesn't kill anyone, well fine, but there's got to be a decent reason. Well, there is in this. This guy, punishment is a different idea for the Phantom. Punishment is not just about killing people. Punishment is about giving them just as bad as they've been giving it to other people, if that makes any sense at all. So I love the fact that his fiance finally becomes a completely proactive character and is really doing things within this series. I like the fact that he's able to clear his own name and convict him at the same time. The fact that this coincides with his wedding is kind of iffy. I find it a little convenient, but that's okay. I can accept it. Bad things are always happening to the Phantom. Why not during his wedding? And, yep, that's all my notes. So, I enjoyed this series quite a lot. Thank you to I believe his name is pronounced Zeodogas. So, thank you for sending us these. I really appreciated it, and I have enjoyed it quite a lot. I feel like this series, I wish the series could have gone on for, I don't know, 5 or 6 more issues, because now that Diane's more proactive, and now that they're married, and now that I just want to see Diane fleshed out as a full person. I feel like these last 2 issues set her up as a really interesting character, and now that she is a member of the Phantom team, I want to see what she does. But of course, the series is over. So, and the last issue was published in March of 1990. So, that's it. It's over. But, thanks for watching, guys! Of course, this is Geekvolution, and you've been watching The Comic Vault. You guys have a great day, and thanks for watching The Comic Vault.